Sockets. A socket is a connection between two computers. It actually allows us to communicate with other computer in a row. It can be used to create input and output streams that lead from one computer to other. Actually, it is embedded with a port number, and it takes the incoming connection from a port and passes it on. Java provides two classes, socket and server socket. Socket is actually used for the connection, and server socket is used to manage the port number from which we're going to decide the connection. To create a socket, you need an IP address or a URL and a port number. If you are using a PC and connecting with other PC, then you're going to have to get and collect the confronting PC IP address. Or if you are using a web server, like for example an offline web server as XAMPP or WAMP, then you would be able to use the address of that web server and plus a port number, and then you would be able to connect with them. Examples of socket contain, like we can create a socket by socket t is equal to new socket and plus the IP of that particularly PC, or you can also put on an IP address of that web server and a port number. Here 127.0.0.1 is actually in a web server URL, or you can set it an IP, and 81 is the port number through which we're gonna connect with that web server. The socket will not be created unless a connection can be established on the specified machine at the specified port. That is mean that a port without the connection with the port, you cannot create actually a socket. So the connection should be established with the port of both computers, and then the socket will be created. A port is actually an integer which is actually used to distinguish among the connection. It is not a physical device, but it is used to distinguish among the connections of the different computers. To write a Java program and to make a machine listen to a port, you need a server socket, so that a server socket would be able to manage that port, and then you would be able to listen to that port. And we can create that server socket by using server socket as is equal to new server socket, and that 81 is actually the port number which we are going to manage with that. Socket incoming is equal to s.accept, and then with the help of socket, the incoming connection from that port number 81, which is actually handled by a server socket, we're going to have to then wait and accept it for further processing.